Okay. Yeah, hello. I'm pleased to see you here, that you found the room. My name is Stefan Kiora. I'm editor-in-chief of Startup Ticker. I'm also author of the Swiss Venture Capital Report, so the reference publication for investments in Swiss startups. Given this background, it might be a little bit surprising that I had the idea of doing a panel on the topic of bootstrapping. But our numbers are showing clearly that the number of financing rounds is going down, was going down in 24 and is still going down in 25. And on the other hand, we have every year up to 250, 300 new companies coming out of the universities and so on, looking for funding. Everything is getting more competitive. This also means that if you are looking for funding from investors, you will need more effort, have to invest more time to find a good investor. On the other hand, investors are getting more critical, so they are demanding more revenue, something close to profitability. And then I think it's a fair question to ask if you need an investor at all. And then usually in the scene here in Switzerland, people think that for a very ambitious or deep tech startup, it's not possible to do without. But it is. So we have 3 living examples here of startups that are deep tech or are ambitious or both. We will talk about that, and the idea of the panel is to give you these examples to show it is possible to do without investors if some preconditions are met. And also I think there will be a lot of tips on how to do it if you try to do it. We will start with a short introduction. So can you please all say a few words, who you are, what your company is doing, and maybe one indication how big it is, so how many customers, revenues, or whatever, something like that, so that people know the size of the company.
Should I start?
Yeah, please.
So hi together, I'm Sabrina Skenardi from BLP, Bravo Lima Papa, BLP, very special name. I'm co-founder of BLP. BLP is an AI platform who does ERP automation. We are coming from the ETH of Zurich Research, so we are a spin-off. We're coming from there, started 2019 becoming the spin-off, built for 3 years together with 60 clients or with 60 companies who just helped us to start and to do the software in the cloud. And since 2021, we are on the market. I joined 2021, so I was the first person in the business part. I'm coming from the HSG St. Gallen. And we started with 12 people and with 60 clients, because the ones who helped us for the development become then our first clients. Maybe a good indication how you can bootstrap. Yeah. And today we have 300 plus clients. We have a Migros, or we have a Cambly, or we have Edeka, or so on. And today 80 employees. We are Zurich-based. We have our office at the Hauptbahnhof Zurich with about 1,000 square meters on 3 floors.
Nice. And Florian?
Yeah. Hi everybody. So I'm Florian from Menia Photonic. My background is physics and engineering from ETH Zurich. I always wanted to create a startup, and 7 years ago we created a company to provide lasers of high quality for satellite and highly secure telecommunications for data centers and so on. So with my background and my co-founders that has a background in industry, we could fully bootstrap the company the last 7 years. So we started with 3 people. We built our own clean room facilities, our own lab. Nowadays we are 27 people. Still fully bootstrapped, selling mostly in the US, in Europe. We generated a cumulative revenue of 15 million in totals, only selling deep tech lasers for these applications. So yes, it's possible to have hardware. And as you were saying, we had customers since day one, and we're generating our first revenue after 12 months. And we could, with prepayments, developments, grow finances like that and stay close to our customers.
Yeah. And Christian, a little bit another story.
Exactly. My name is Chris. I founded Ofinto. We do office furniture. So we develop, produce, and then e-commerce our own office furniture. So a little bit less high-tech than my partners here. But we equip around 50,000 offices a year. So it's quite a volume in the end, where also you need to have a lot of technology, and we have 3 different inventory locations, etc. So by now there's also been a lot of investments, but we did some tricks and everything. So that's why we also bootstrapped so far. We are around 15 people, also based in Zurich. Our showroom is there if you need office furniture. So that's my background.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe just in between, so we will try to keep this interactive. So whenever you have questions, just make clear that you have a question, and we will take it then. So we will not wait until the end. Christian, maybe first question then to you. Can you give us a little bit of history? So how this idea of selling office furniture online came about? Because it's it's not that clear that this is a good idea.
When we started with office furniture, the first reaction from people was always like, "Haven't you studied that you now sell office? Does you now sell office furniture? And are not other people also doing that?" So it's a little bit uncommon. I studied business, and then I was a business consultant for a few years. We were helping struggling companies to get their financing again and everything, usually larger companies. And the office furniture industry in general is quite often a little bit in a crisis moment currently, because the industry is quite old. They're around 50, 60, 70 years old on average. So it's a 3rd generation issue. They often have it changes ownership and everything. And what the industry also has in common is that they are very afraid of selling online. Like, they have their dealers, they had their dealers for the past 60, 70 years, they grew with their dealers, and if they now would want to push online, they would cannibalize their current channel and everything, so that's why they're very afraid of pushing online. And I was observing that as a business consultant, and then I thought, maybe this is a potential to make high quality furniture, but sell it directly online, and therefore also having a little bit more scale, having a little bit less cost in the fulfillment. And this is D2C approach in office furniture.
Can you maybe add 2 or 3 sentences about the positioning of the company? So you're not a competitor of Galaxus or Temu or shops like that.
No, exactly. Our competitors is more, this is very big competitors, but if you think of, for example, of Vitra, which everyone knows, and there's Giersberg and a few brands, like the premium office furniture, you also have even in an office that usually a chair costs 1,000, 2,000 Swiss francs. We try to sell that for like half the price, so premium quality at half the price. This is a little bit our trick. And also compared to, for example, Galaxus orders for their offices, they order with us, because if you equip a large office, it's often a little bit of project, you can imagine. Like, if you move in 50 tables and install it, and everything needs to be desk ready, you usually don't order that just on Amazon or on Galaxus, because you don't want to follow this tracking and everything comes somewhere and not at the same time. So we take care of these larger projects where we need to move in a lot of furniture and make sure that our business clients have all the desks and chairs they need.
Yeah. Florian, you said you were selling from day one. So how was that possible? Because I know a lot of ETH spin-offs, they do not sell in the first 3 years or something like that. So what did you do?
Because people sell when they have the product ready, and it's not what you should do. You should try to sell before you have a product, to make sure that you are developing the right things. So for me, I trusted my team, the 2 other guys that developing the product, make a data sheet, and starting from day one to try to sell a dream, sell what we were developing, try to engage with our customers. And as soon as we had a kind of prototype that was not looking exactly like on the data sheet, I could already get a PO and after really produce and generate revenue from that.
And this means they paid already before you could provide something?
Yeah, usually we manage, I would say, at more than 50% of our sales to have at least 50% of prepayment. And because we do 70% of gross margin, you can imagine that you can finance yourself quite nicely.
Yeah.
Of course, it's hard to do that, and people are not used to that. But the less cash you have, the more efficient you are to use it, and the more you are innovating to push your customer to do it. And it also forces you to kind of choose at the beginning the customer that pay properly.
Yeah. But on the side of the customers, that means that there has to be also a real pain, but because otherwise they wouldn't do that. So how was it possible to identify this pain?
So, at least compared to other startups, I wouldn't say we are not innovative, but the type of product and laser we sell were already existing in the market. We kind of a bit customized it and made a much better quality. And our competitive company, when we started, were doing low quality product. And they just got acquired, so we had the chance to more or less come as a newcomer that will last longer with higher quality product. So of course, they didn't trust us at the beginning, but we had to build it up. And after that, they could kind of started to trust us. And now we are a trusted partner worldwide on this type of product. And we are now growing a lot of OEM customers as well.
Yeah. Sabrina, can you talk a little bit about the time when you were not on board? So, the development of the solution, the company was also in quite close contact to potential customers. Can you explain a little bit how it works? Yeah.
Maybe important what I want to add is when you're talking about startups and you're going to pitch, you have the structure about problem, benefit, solution, or problem, solution, benefit, that you can change. So the problem that we solved at BLP was quite huge. So the question is, why do we have shared service centers? In Bangalore, more than 500. So you have Coca-Cola, Pepsi, BMW, Fireway, all the companies are there, shared service center. In Poland, what are these people doing? So they have, of the left side, they have an invoice with a lot of table items, and on the right side they have the ERP data from SAP, IFS, Oracle, the data. And the problem is that there is a deviation. So I know from my ERP that I get 5,000 francs from FlareUp, for example, but then on the bill, on the invoice from FlareUp, it's 5,200. Okay, we have 200 francs. Where are these 200 francs? And if you have 15 sites, I guess you know the problem, yes? Please make yes, you know the problem, we have this problem. And if you don't have people in a shared service center, because you're a huge company, you have your CFO have a big finance team, Buchhalterin, what do? They have to find the mistake, so on which line. So we find out or cracked the code with AI, and this is just the quantum behind technology, that one of our founders, Sven Beck, he was studying at ETH machine learning. And his question was, what would happen if you combine OCR, optical character recognition, together with AI? To explain, OCR is a technology you need to extract data, to read data from a PDF. Because obviously that's the problem. So it was pretty clear, awesome. If you have a machine that you can learn, who can extract and understand in seconds an invoice, happens that number one, all the solutions you have, you can't use them anymore because they work with templates. And in the first time in history of mankind, you can extract the line items. And this is just to crack the code, because this is why we have people in the shared service center. So this research was a quantum leap. It was not just something small. Yeah, machine learning, reading documents is just great. What then happened is that Google, at the same time, and all others were also find out how does it work. And he cracked the code, did the research paper, and then the head of data extraction from Google in Zurich, he saw it, and then 2019, that was the start to say, hey, okay, let's just build a company around this. But now is the second one. Just reading a document and understand it, it's okay. But it's not the business model that you will go for years. We are now about 6 years later, and you don't just, it's kind of convenient, agree? Data extraction is just, everybody can do it. So Sven Beck came, and this is very important, what I believe, to build a company, you have to have a big, deep knowledge. His parents built an ERP. This is why we are on the ERP environment. So when he cracked the code from extraction from documents understanding, he knew, okay, then I solved the problem of the customers of my parents' ERP, because they do this job. So then for 3 years, together with 60 customers from the ERP from the parents, we start to build this, and we get the documents just to train them, because then we today can just do this, you have to train them. Every AI, you have to train it. But we automate the process. So for automation, you have to understand where is the data in the ERP, which we knew very good. You have to understand how has an invoice or an order confirmation, what layers do they have to be proceeded, what are the steps that people are involved. So it's very complex. So for 3 years, we studied all this to really understand it. And at the end of 2021, we had as one of the first companies in the world a solution that can end-to-end automate invoices because of 2 things. Yes, we had the AI, which today everybody has who understands the document, but we put also the ERP kind in machine learning. And this is the huge USP that not other companies have. If you have an ERP who understands your data and learn it by heart, and then you bring a document in the context, it's just what all the other solutions are on the market. I've not, because they have a document and they try to push it a little bit and find numbers. Oh, it's not working. So we switched around the whole thing, and this is why it went very good. And so the 60 clients from development become our first clients, because the need was here, and now we have 300 clients. Vitra, by the way, also.
Okay. Sabrina, maybe one additional question, and I think it would be good if you get a short answer. So,
okay. Tell me how many seconds are very good.
I mean, 3 years of development. This sounds more like a deep tech startup, but how did the company finance that without an investor? So what happened back then? So maybe in 3 sentences.
3 sentences. Okay. So from ETH, you get some grants when you start. You get very supported. So very good. ETH spin-off is always good. Then we paid not so much salaries and did a little bit. The 2 brothers worked cross-site for the company to selling the ERP from the parents, and so we did this cross-financing ourselves. So this one was the first.
Very good. Okay.
5 cents?
Yeah, great. No, that was good. Christian, I think in your case, the first thing that came to my mind when I saw the business plan, the business that you have is the secret behind bootstrapping is liquidity management. Is that true? And can you give a few tips or insights about this liquidity management, how you handle it, and what startups usually don't do but could do to need less money from investors?
Yeah, sure. This is also from my background. So this is what I did before, actually professionally, like making these liquidity plans for bigger companies. So basically, if you think about your working capital, if your inventory, accounts payables, accounts receivables, and with all of them, as you mentioned before, with all of them you can tweak a little bit things, and you can also negotiate, for example, with players where you think you cannot negotiate. For example, with Google, you can pay Google, for example, is always a big expense for many e-commerce companies. You can negotiate with them that they can pay by invoice. And recently I was talking to a co-founder, for example, that he just told me very proud, I just raised money for 400K and everything. And then I asked him, how much do you pay on Google? And I said, on average 100K. And I said, you could pay them by invoice and everything. That would already be like 1/4 of your raising. So often startups jump to the conclusion, okay, I need money, I need an investor. But if you just go through all the lines of, okay, how can you optimize inventory? Can you negotiate with your suppliers? Can you negotiate with your receivables? You can. You actually can manage a lot if you already have revenue, if you already have everything going. You can squeeze out quite a lot, and then an investor should be the last resort, not the first resort.
And do you need a lot of knowledge for that, or is it more an attitude? So, or do you really need an experienced CFO or something like that?
I mean, this is not some deep tech science. This is all written in thousands of books, and everyone who is a little bit familiar with it.
It's just a mentality.
Yeah.
How many people of you are negotiating when you buy something? Just that. Every time you buy something, you negotiate. You say discount. No. And usually you get it because nobody asks. If you reduce your whole buying by 10%, it's a lot of money at the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think in Switzerland it's not a common thing to just ask discount. Always ask discount. For everything.
Discount and payment terms,
Yeah. Florian, you also told me that the other side then that you really have to go out and sell, and you need at least one of the founders must be someone who is able and wants to sell and travels the world
Yes.
to do this.
So typically this year I already spent 6 weeks full-time in the US, just this year, because it's our biggest market and they have a lot of money despite the kind of chaos currently. At the end, if you create a company, you have to make money. If you want to make an NGO, it's good for you. It's a different way of financing, but as a company, you need to make money and you need to sell. If you are not ready to sell, I'd rather stop now. And I still believe that the founder, as you said it, that's even in your case, it's really technical, and in our case, it's the same. We need really people that understand what we do to be able to sell to our customer. And even if I'm building a team of 3 people, I still need to be quite involved in sales because I also like it. And yeah, the people that sell are the only people that bring money to the company. Everybody brings value, but the salespeople are the only ones that bring money.
Okay. Yeah, but anyway, I mean, Sabrina, you too. So, is it possible to attract employees? I mean, if you are in AI, everybody wants now AI experts, of course. So, you compete with everybody. So, how do you attract people working for BLP? 80 people. I mean, this is quite a lot.
And we have 50 people are engineers, so we are a deep tech company. Yeah, so people like me. Yeah. There are just a few of them. So I guess for hiring, people, they have to say, or I want to go corporate or startup. So this is a decision that people do. So all the people who say, I go corporate, we don't have a chance to get them. It's fully clear. So let's concentrate to the others who say startup. Startup usually don't pay as good. So the question is, I don't get as much salary as a corporate because they just decided I want to go for a startup. And then as a startup, I think it's important. So we are top-notch technology. So we have about 15 engineers who are doing AI. They're all from ETH. So our AI is real AI. So it's not fake or marketing AI. So it's deep, deep, deep. And so it's the chance to work here at BLP on that environment of LLMs, extraction, ERP automation, AI. This is just, you don't have so many companies. So it's from the technological aspect, very, very cool to work here. And then if people like this, let's go. And then giving shares, the second one. We give people shares, skin in the game. We say the salary is not so good, but we tripled our ARR every year. So we are scale up crazy. So just, if you want to go with us, just go. And all in. So we also want the mindset of all in. Yeah. Working all in. It's not kind of 8 to 5 jobs. Please. Yeah. There is a microphone that you should get because it gets
recorded.
Recorded, yes.
Yeah. Just for the question, like you said, like you can give shares, of course, but still, like for paying a certain salary, you need some money. And if that's 1 or 2 person, that's fine. But in your case, when you have then immediately 10, 15 people, how do you finance that, or from where do you get that?
Okay. So as I said, the developer companies, they started with us. We had, then when they became clients, we had less money and we grow very organically, very slow. Then happens that we get 2.5 million grants from InnoSwiss, because there was a pot, because Switzerland was kicked out of the Horizon program from Europe, and then overnight 80 millions, the Bundesrat said, oh, we make 80 millions because otherwise Switzerland is not innovative anymore. And then from them we won or get a grant from 2.5 million. That was in May 2025, we were there 25 people, and then in 10 months later we were about 45, 50, so that was the push. And a lot of selling. Every cent is going in to hire people. So the shares is just kind of not really.
But you need kind of non-dilutive funding to kick this off, or is this also just a coincidence? You're all in Zurich. Is this?
It's just a place to be now.
No, I don't know. It's like
no, I mean,
where money the bank.
It's known like as a ETH startup. You have good support from a network. Zurich in general, maybe good tax situation. What is the recommendation if you are not based in Zurich, or if you have not the ETH in the back? Is there any suggestion to go directly for Standortförderung, InnoSwiss, or any other recommendations?
Always go, yes. Go. Try to get everywhere just ask like discount. Yeah, going
We
to
are-
Swiss is like getting discount.
I got
Getting
we
more
got the
grants.
same. We got the same 1.9 million last year, plus a loan from UBS that more or less kick us,
No.
plus huge customer.
Okay.
But
yeah.
to answer your question, at the end, many people ask me, like, I'm French originally, why do you not come back to France? Why do you stay in Zurich? It's so expensive. You have to pay people 20% more than in Lausanne. Yeah, but you get talent. If you don't get talent, you are screwed. Of course, it's expensive, but you just need to always grow. As you grow really fast, I'm pushing usually 30 to 40% of growth per year, like that each employee get also his personal growth within the company, without to leave the company. But yes, you have to push. And that's how you attract talent. Without talent, you cannot do anything.
It's not a coincidence that Google did the first office in the 0 years in Zurich because of the ETH. So to get the best talent, you have to go where the best universities are, and this is ETH. So.
Yeah, maybe one word regarding the support. I think it's okay in Switzerland, in particular for young deep tech companies, and that doesn't matter where, because we have this national funding. We have now again the possibility to apply for this EIC accelerator, which was replaced by the Swiss accelerator, and they give something like 2.5 million and up to 10 million investment on top. And from InnoSwiss, we have the startup innovation projects in which they directly invest into companies. So you do not need a research partner with 1 million, but of course this is all national. This works. And then you have local funding, of course, available. This is even a little bit more, I think, in the Canton of Vaud. With the FIT Foundation and things like that. So this is absolutely possible. But one more question to you, Florian. So this Swiss Accelerator grant, this was not by chance. So you have someone who is really into writing those proposals. Yeah?
Yes. So typically out of our total revenue, we do 15 to 20% of our revenue is from grants. It can be ESAs, can be US grants, can be InnoSwiss, which doesn't bring us money except the Swiss accelerator. Because for us, we want to do leverage, and also we want to get closer to our customer in terms of applications. And 4 years ago, I decided to hire someone that has a PhD and 2 postdoc that knew about that technology, but wanted to become CFO and strategy manager. And so she's really good at understanding what we do, not in the detail, which is good because she can also explain it and write this grant in a proper way for people that read it and select it. And 150K positions with overheads completely pay off after 12 months. Because you easily bring, as you said, with all these grants, not only partnership, but also money and leveraging, because once you sell once, you can sell better to many other grants, kind of. And it's a non-negligible things.
Yeah.
To not only money, but really for partnerships. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah. Other questions? Okay. Then my next question to Florian, you mentioned shortly this UBS growth loan. So you are already bankable, or more or less bankable.
Yes. Even UBS was surprised about that. No, so at least because we started to generate revenue, at least our first fiscal year was long, like it was 21 months. We were negative, but the year after we were profitable since the beginning. Of course, we were profitable from an accounting point of view, meaning that we had to cut on everything. But it allowed us to grow and show that we were able to generate revenue, able to deliver, able to have a recurrent customer. And so UBS trusted us in our scalability to move to a new place and invest into a new clean room facility and a new building.
Yeah. Okay.
Typically, UBS, a bank, do not pay for salary. They pay for things that they can take back if you don't pay.
For salary, so we are BLP, we paid 3,000 francs, for years. So the founder team. So that we just get more money just to hire the first people. So
yeah, we did that the first 2 years as well. It's a way of you reduce your burn rate.
Yeah.
After 3-4 years, we now pay us correctly, I would say, because I think it's also fair. If many founders pay themselves for 10 years at 50K per year, I'm like, man, you can die tomorrow. You will suffer. Okay. If you don't manage, find another way.
Yeah.
It's good at the beginning, but
Christian, in your case, did you have any financing from the outside, so bank loans, grants, something, or you just invest yourself? Yeah?
We 99.9% invest ourselves. We got a tiny bit from there was this diamond in St. Gallen, this price, but that was maybe 2,000 Swiss francs or something.
Okay,
to be correct. But yeah, the rest was ourselves. Yeah.
And nowadays you would be bankable, so you would get a loan if you would apply for one?
Yeah, with us it was also quite early. So when we started, we were also lucky with the timing. Like our idea had nothing to do with COVID, but when we started, it was the hype of or the main curve of COVID. So everyone needed an office chair, everyone needed a desk, everyone was sold out. So we had quite a good first year. So very early on, we also got a banking line, so of an additional 100K that we could have used. That started very early with the banks. There with the bank is also very important that you always have a good communication with the bank even before you need something from them. So if you ever need a loan or anything from them, just make sure you have a good connection with the bank. You always tell them the reports, you always that they understand your business, because later when you have a problem, if you ever have a problem, they already understand, okay, it has been going well for 15 years. Now this happened, it's external or whatever, they understand, and then it's also easier to get the financing.
Florian, in your case, how long did it take with UBS to obtain this growth loan?
I think a good 6 to 8 months, but I completely agree with you that, like for investors and so on, it's not, you should not talk to them when you need them. You should kind of learn what they want and build up these relationships. Before UBS, we had a 250K loan from ZKB, which was our original bank. It was the same. We expanded by one room. We needed equipment. We get 250K of credit line.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Then maybe the last questions about investors. Sabrina, starting with you. I mean, you're growing quite a lot. Are investors a possibility? So obtaining an investment for the next growth step?
Say never no. So you shouldn't. So the history shows that we didn't or hadn't. We also approached and had some conversations with investors, but it never happened. But of course, so stay open and just look around, and if there is an opportunity, and smart money, smart money, not just money. So we need partnerships that helps us to leverage our business, of course.
And what had been different if you had found an investor in the early days? So let's say 2020, would this make sense for the company, or?
It's hard to say. Yeah. So getting an investor is losing control. So why? I'm an entrepreneur because we want control. We want to have our stuff, do it in our own way, without just having always people just because they gave money to tell us how we have to do it. So I love to be free. Yeah. Of course, to get money, you can grow faster. So in our case, with 2.5 million, we grow faster. But to be honest, I grow fast. I guess if we get a lot of money, how do you want to grow faster as we did? We tripled ARR every year. So you have to do structures, you have to sell. So it's so hard to scale that also with 100 million. I can't scale faster. I have to hire people. The hiring is still a process which takes time. So I couldn't think that everything would just go bigger, faster. It's okay how it is.
Christian, you look like you would comment on that.
But I totally agree. I mean, I think first of all, building the company, it just takes time. You cannot expedite these things. And the other thing is also what you said is basically a culture. Like if you're bootstrapped, you just you think more, because you can grow. If you have 100 million, you can grow, but then you just start wasting money everywhere. And I think once you do that, it's very hard to get rid of that again. Because you just hire all these managers that do something and everything.
Okay. Yeah. Please, just wait for the microphone.
I have a question regarding making a right decision at the right time. So in my case, I don't know where to invest my time, going for the investor or going for the clients. you know, because I think in my head that I'm very close to the market, but on the other side, I need to survive. And then in some cases, I heard that you set a contract, they pay next year maybe, so there might be really not what we expect right now. But how, I mean, what criteria do you recommend to consider to make a right decision for the investment of the time and make a right decision?
Yes.
So, at least in our case, I was exactly in this struggle 7 years ago and also the last years. We don't have a nice pitch. We don't have an easy problem and solution we solve, but I'm really good at selling to customers. So at the end, I said, why should I spend so much time to talk to investors, to explain them a nice story, while when I talk to customers, they kind of more or less accept directly and sign. And that was my kind of focus. Of course, there is the timeline. Sales cycles usually for us last up to 18 months from the first contact to you get cash, and you can sometimes compress it. But people, when I never raise money, but when I hear is typically when you raise money, it's 6 months time, 50% of your time. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of time.
Exactly. And then going to the market is kind of reassurance that, however, there's a market existing, real market. Maybe it's not comparable to the investor money, but there's kind of reassurance that your solution is.
Exactly. But you shouldn't die in the meantime. That was the problem. You know, what's the kind of? It's a fine balance, and you need to look at the time scale, because many people forget the time scale of sales cycles. Some can pay at least pre-money at the order, but yeah.
And at the end, to be honest, spend the time with your potential clients. So if you sell, and this is what the end investors want to see. So if you sell, you just grow. And if you grow and you do a very good job, as we do, so the investors at the end, they will come. So at the end, if you have a product that really solves a problem and you just sell, it's okay. You know what I mean? So you did everything right instead of going and pitching for money, wasting time. Go and make clients. Then you can come and say to the investors, hey, I have 10 clients in 3 months. Wow, crazy. But that needs time. Go for it.
And then the money we can gain from the first clients is not comparable to the money we can get from the investor. And then there's a scale up, you know, the growth that you need to really tackle. You need really huge money to.
Yes, the investors pay you, of course, because you showed that you get clients, because you have a good product and no clients, so no investor will you give money. So go for clients. As more clients you have, you get money, or you just, with the clients' money you have, bootstrap, you can grow.
Yeah. At least you seem to have a really high growth, which can fit in some VC. For us, it doesn't work in deep tech because our customers take times. And typically, the few companies in deep tech that raise too much money, a few million at the beginning, they kind of die because you don't follow your growth capability doesn't follow what VC want to have due to their funds, because they want to have you making a 10x over 7 to 5 years. It just doesn't work for us. So
it depends also on the business model. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions, comments?
Maybe my last question. Sorry.
Okay.
You mentioned that you have a good selling capabilities. How can we? Intuitively, I don't have it, but I want to learn. Is that something that we can learn, or we have to go to find a person who has this capability intuitively?
So no, you have to learn it. If the founding team doesn't learn it, stop. I would say. It's the founder need to learn to sell, and it's not that hard. If you know your product and you are curious, want to solve the problem, at the end you have a lot of training. I was also using my distributor in the US at the beginning to train myself, and with the time you just learn. It's a lot of psychology, how people react, and put a quote in front of a customer, push for payment term and so on. You can learn it. If you have learned technical stuff, you can learn how to sell. If you have some social capability.
Otherwise, you need AI to do that. Okay, great.
Yeah, but it's part of your founding team that you cannot only be techie people. At least I think that's what you got hired, maybe, or I don't know.
I guess there was a question. No?
Another question somewhere? Okay. Yeah, I think then. Okay, I think we can close here. It was more my goal to inspire, also maybe to. There's the last question. Yeah. Very good.
Thank you. I can maybe ask a quick question. So what are your negotiation strategies for getting these prepayments from the corporates as a startup?
Well, for us, we didn't have too much corporate at the beginning. It was more university, and you just ask. You ask every time, and sometimes, and most of the cases, they say no, but sometimes they say yes, and you are surprised.
And also, I think you need to make a good, like you need to go there, you need to introduce yourself, you need to tell who you are, what is your strategy. Like they need to believe in you and your business as well. So it's a little bit like in an investor, right? Like once you go there and once they actually understood, okay, these guys are serious, okay, these guys really have skin in the game, okay, then they're willing to invest because in the end both grow, right? Yeah, just don't do it bluntly on an email.
Maybe one question again, Christian, to you. You have a lot of suppliers. And you were a young company with now background, now history. So how was it possible to deal with them and even on terms that were attractive for you?
It helped me that before I was in this industry already as a consultant. So they understood when I traveled there and when you negotiate, they understood that you understand the market, and they also understood that these companies, the legacy companies, so to say, they have these issues and yeah, in the end, they just also need to believe in the vision. And yeah, we started with maybe one chair a day, and now it's more 30,000 a year. So, you know, once they believe in you and they also invest in you, then but you grow together.
Yeah.
It's all about storytelling.
Yeah.
Good storytelling makes trust.
Okay. Very good. So, everybody fine?
Maybe before we close, if there is, I have a wish. Can I have?
Yeah, Sabrina, do this.
So we try to scale from 10 million ARR to 30. So we need a lot of people. We are hiring as crazy. So if you know someone that someone knows that what someone knows that. So head of sales, head AR, in all the fields, project managers, we are just looking for crazy people who just want to help us just to scale up as more as possible. So please, happy to share around. And tell about Sabrina on LinkedIn or whatever. Let me know if you know someone who knows someone that someone knows them. Also from Bern. So and this is the reason why we have our office at the Zurich Hauptbahnhof, 2 minutes, Schützengasse, which is right at Bahnhof Street, because I say always when I hire people, you have longer from your house to your station than from Hauptbahnhof to our office.
Okay, great.
This is how you sell, right?
Sorry?
This is how you sell. This is how you sell.
Yeah, I sold. So now I hope that my LinkedIn box will be quite full. No, thank you. Just helping and sharing is caring. Would appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Alice, if I can have a wish, based on your question, is that whole Switzerland, and I'm pushing that a lot, that could get more training on savings.
Yeah.
Because at the end, it's not that VC should not help company and finance, but the more we as deep tech people or less deep tech people are learning to sell, the more we gain controls, and the more we create profitability, and the more we stay independent. And I think it has some.
As entrepreneurs should sell. So one people of your core team should do business and selling. Because without selling.
And since it's a noble job and it's fun.
It's fun. Okay. Yeah,
you see, we are here just talking about you know?
These are really salespeople. So very good. So thank you very much. We will be here for another 5 minutes or so. So if you have additional questions, you can also come to us and talk to us. And otherwise, I mean, we are all available on LinkedIn. And just ask.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.